How to find undervalued submarkets for multifamily investments. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's video. Going to talk about trying to find value in new submarkets in multifamily, and I mean new to you. So, for instance, I've recently moved down to the South Florida area. It's a every submarket here is very new to me. However, I lived in Chicago for 14 years, and to be honest, there were towns in the Chicagoland area, especially close to the rural areas, where I'd never heard of. So, how do you go into these submarkets and figure them out quickly and efficiently to see if there is potential value there for multifamily and apartment investments? So let's dive into it. I'm going to go through three levels of research and questions you need to ask in order to determine whether a submarket is undervalued or not. And the key term here is undervalued. A lot of people say, yeah, this is a good area, you should invest here, or this is a bad area, stay away from here. But they're usually talking about level one analysis, which is just because a good area is good and safe and you like it doesn't mean that it's undervalued. In fact, usually it means it's overvalued or at least at value. The market has its way of averaging itself out. Likewise, a bad area might not necessarily mean that it's bad for investing. It might just not be an area that someone wants to live. So we have to go to the next level of thinking, which is where can we find value in these submarkets? Where can we find that maybe a submarket is cheaper than perhaps what it should be in reality? So we're going to go through three steps here. The first one is surface research. So level one, we're going to try and be as efficient as possible. There's a lot of submarkets out there. You can't know them all. So I like to do it by an actual property. So if something comes up on the market or a closed comp, I'll kind of zero in on that property and then kind of work myself outwards to the rest of the submarket. So you want to look at local geography using maps and satellite view. You should already be doing this when you find a property. Go to Google Maps or Apple Maps or whatever map you like to use and just look at the local geography. See what's nearby. Are there parks, schools? How far away is it from the major metro area? How far is it away from the local downtown area? How far from highways, bodies of water? Is it close to river, a lake, the ocean? All of these factors can kind of give you a good idea of what you're dealing here from a very surface level. The next thing you want to do is do a virtual walk of the area, and I'm talking specifically about Google Street View. If you're not using Google Street View right now, you need to get on it ASAP because this is something this is really a game changer since it came out. You can go through any streets at the street level, and I like to call it walking a street. And you don't just go to the property and do a quick 360 view of what you see and then exit out. You actually want to go down the block, make observations of what you see. You can go in many different directions. What you're looking out for? You're looking out for what condition is the area in? Do you see a lot of nicer places, well-kept exteriors, or is it run down? Are there a lot of empty lots? Is it mostly residential houses? Is there multifamily? Is there retail? Who are the people that are walking around? What are the cars that are driving past or parked at these properties? All of this information, it's not going to be decisive, but it's giving you a picture of what the area can be like and if it matches the kind of area that you want to invest in. So use Street View. Again, we're trying to be as efficient as possible with our time. So you can do these top two tips very quickly. You can do them in a half hour, 45 minutes, and gain a lot of knowledge just from scouring the areas yourself virtually. The third one in level one is look at comps. Sold and rental, you should always be doing this. It gives just some data points in your mind of what price points we're looking at. Sold and rented are the best two we want to look at, but also look at what's currently on the market. Is there a big difference between what's sold and what's currently on the market? And same for rents. That can give you an idea of where the psychology of sellers are at in this current market. Are there a lot of listings? Are there not so many listings? Now, of course, you're going to be comparing this to other areas, other submarkets that you've seen, and you're going to create this collection of data points in your mind. You don't even necessarily need to write them down, but you're going to say, hey, that those rental prices are kind of high for what these buildings sell for. I'm going to investigate a bit further. So that's level one. Again, surface research. The point of it is you can be efficient. You can go through many submarkets in a relatively short period of time, especially if you're from out of town or it's a long way away. Doing this initial research is very powerful. You couldn't do this 30 years ago. You would actually have to go to the physical areas to find this information, but you have a lot of good technology at your fingertips right now, so you need to be using it. Level two is more in-depth research. So you've done your level one, your surface research. You said, hey, I kind of like what I'm seeing. I want to know more. How do we take that further? How do we distinguish ourselves from the other real estate investors out there, especially those from out of town or covering vast areas and regional and national markets? Go for an in-person walk around. So yes, we already did the Street View virtual walk around. People might say, yeah, what's the point? I've already seen it. I know what's there. Why do I need to go walk it? There's so much you can learn from walking an area. And notice I didn't say drive an area. You can drive an area, but usually when you do, you don't get as much bang for your buck. You're already there. You may as well park your car, get out and walk. When you walk, you slow down. You can take in the surroundings. You can see more activity happening, whether it's cars driving by, people walking past. You can get a better feel. How does it smell? All of these things go to creating a perception for how it is in reality, and not not the things that are said on the internet or by other people. So walking around in person, if you can. If you don't feel safe walking around, then it might not be the kind of area you want to invest in. So I'd say in-person walk around is huge. Go, get a coffee at the local coffee shop. Walk around the retail areas. Go to the local parks, see how clean they are. You can learn so much by walking around, and this is a huge advantage over investors from out of market. You may be in a market where there's a lot of out of market investors, and so you need to take every advantage you can get. So walking around in person is a big one you can do there. Talk to people, locals and non-locals. So when you're walking around, stop someone, ask them, how do you like the area? How long have you been in the area? How has it changed in recent times? See how people, not just what they say, but how excited do they feel talking about the area? Are they down about it, or are they excited when they talk about their neighborhood? Similarly, you want to talk to non-locals, so people who don't necessarily live in the area or maybe haven't been to the area for a while. You want to talk to them and see what is their perception of the area. So I'll give you an example. In the Miami area here, there's a neighborhood that has traditionally been pretty tough. Low income, crime and safety has been an issue. And that neighborhood is called Alapata. And so to this day, it still is a very low income area. And people are telling me, hey, this is dangerous. You don't want to be around here, be very careful. And I went through it, and yes, it was very low income. However, I did not feel unsafe there. It was actually, there was a lot of low-income people, but they had jobs, they were working, and some places weren't in the best of shape. But at no point did I feel unsafe. Yet the perception of locals in the Miami area who've told me about it, I would think that I should be wearing a bulletproof vest walking through these areas. So you want to talk to locals, the people that are there, but you also want to talk to non-locals. And what we're doing is we're getting different perspectives, and this is all data collection, whether it's numbers from the internet, and statistics, census bureaus, but also data from unquantifiable things. And you get that from walking around, talking to locals and non-locals alike. And then the last thing is read about future plans. So maybe you've heard about some things that are happening in the near future in the neighborhood. Verify them online, see what else people are talking about. You're really trying to get a full picture of everything that's going on, everything that has gone on, everything that is currently going on, and then what are we looking towards in the future. So that's kind of level 1 and 2. We're really data gathering just in different ways, and we're trying to use all of this to get to level 3, which is to collate the data. So what we mean by this is, great, we've got all this information. What do we do with it? What are we even trying to achieve here? Well, let's go back to our opening statement. How do we find undervalued submarkets? And this is really what you're looking for. You're looking to find an arbitrage between perception and reality. Now, this is not an exact science. I like to say that investing is both art and science. You've got the science, which is the numbers, the underwriting, the cap rates, but you've also got the art side, which is a lot of feel, gut instinct. Where do you think places are trending? And one of the best ways to come about that is, as we said, walk around, talking to people. This is all bringing data which you are effectively looking for an arbitrage. Just like my example with Alapata, where people were telling me that were not from their neighborhood, that it's dangerous. You shouldn't go there. No, don't even think about investing there. I went there and it's actually less dangerous or not. I didn't feel unsafe at all. And so that was an arbitrage between perception and reality. So what are we looking for? Safety is definitely one of them. If people perceive a place to be unsafe, but you actually perceive it to be safer, then that is one example of an arbitrage that is positively working in your favor. And this might be worth looking into as an undervalued submarket. Another thing is rents. So just looking at rents and saying, hey, this area is actually not bad. I could see myself living here, and look at the rents compared to, where I'm currently living. It's a pretty big difference for not an actual significant living standard difference. So if you have a positive arbitrage in that sense, then you start to see value in some of these areas. Likewise, you might see negative arbitrage, which is not a scenario you want. So I have an example, Little Haiti in the Miami area. It's been, known as a very tough, crime-ridden area for many, many decades, really. And it's recently gone through a gentrification. However, if you go there, at least my perception of it, there were still some very, very rough areas. However, the prices were extremely high and, in my opinion, overvalued. And so you have this negative arbitrage where it's really the opposite of what you want. You don't want to be overpaying or paying a high price for what is perceived to be a safer area than what it actually is. Now, here's the kicker to all of this, and this is the last point of the slide. It's that everyone has bias, and our perceptions are all based on our experiences, what we've heard. And so you have to take everyone's opinion with a grain of salt. Even if someone's been living here for a long time, maybe they've been investing in real estate for a very long time, Everyone's perceptions are shaped by their personal experiences. So, how do you offset this? You get as much data as you can from as many different sources: online, numbers, conversations, walking around in person. And hopefully, with all that information, you can find an arbitrage between perception and what the reality of a situation is. And that is the true art of finding undervalued submarkets. And then from there, you're obviously looking for undervalued properties within that submarket. So, hope that video was helpful. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.